and welcome to Old Stables Crafts and Simple Stamping Saturday. So this is the day where I take one design, make it 3 ways, starting with a really quick and easy design that a beginner stamper could very easily replicate, and then I step it up twice for people who have got more product, have more techniques in their metaphoric toolbox, etc. So let's flip the camera down and have a look at what we're going to be making today. We're using the Pretty Birds stamp set, which is gorgeous. It's in the annual catalogue. It's lovely. Let me find it for you in the annual catalogue. There's this lovely index at the back that has all of the stamp sets in alphabetical order. It helps if you remember what the stamp set's called, having spent about half an hour today trying to find something that was not called what I was convinced it was called. Anyway, Pretty Birds come under Puffer P. So, Pretty Birds, here we go, page 103. There we go. So there are the Pretty Bird stamps. It bundles with the with the birdhouse dies, which I love. And they're giving you some samples of what you could make here, some colouring, but that's what we're using. There are no sentiments in this particular stamp set, which is fine. I have used, and I've put it away. I've tried to be tidy. Silly idea, don't be tidy. I have used the Charming Sentiments. This is a great set if you don't have lots of sentiments and you want kind of generic sentiments. These will do you perfectly. You've got thank you, wishing you happiest birthday, everything will be okay, wishing you everything wonderful, etc. Good luck. There's baby wishes, all sorts. So it's a really good set, and it bundles with some dies that make it look as if you can fussy cut like a pro. You'll be seeing that in a minute. So let's start. I've got all of my stamps that I'm going to be using mounted already. So I've got this outline stamp, and I will show you the project in a minute. This outline stamp, the filler for this, the branch, because there is a branch, and the sentiment, which I'm using hey there, because it sounds kind of like what a budgerigar would say. So let me show you the project. I'm using a white note card and envelope, and this is the project. I'm trying to get that to pick up the colours nicely. So we've got Parakeet Party, it seemed like a given, for the heads and just the little tips of the tails, and then Tahitian Tide for the bodies. Now I think a true budgerigar that's a green-blue budgerigar is probably near a balmy blue, but what I wanted was to use the colours are from Stampin' Right markers, and I wanted to restrict myself to the new in colour Stampin' Right markers, because to buy 5 Stampin' Right markers is not a lot of money, and it gives you 5 colours that you can then use for stamping. So hence my idea. So I'm using basic grey. It's just a softer colour than Tuxedo Black, but it gets a really nice solid image, which the Tuxedo Black, because it's the felt ink pad, it can be, I'm going to say something that is technically impossible, it can be a light black. Black is the complete absence of light. Anyway, so it's therefore black, is what I mean. And if it's not black, it's a shade of some other colour. But yeah, anywho, I have got one of my budgerigars on the front of my envelope as well. So let's get started. I have my basic white note card and envelope. I'm going to start by inking up my outline budgerigars. So I'm going to give those a good inking up with my basic black. I have prepped my stamps, and I'll show you what I mean by that in a minute. I just needed to look at the placement because these are supposed to be identical so that you can see how I made them, not how I made one. So nice outline image, and you'll have noticed, I hope you noticed, that I kept the stamp on the card for quite a while. That way you will allow the ink to transfer. If you just go quickly down and up, let me grab a scrap of paper. A shipping notice is always useful. So this one had nothing on this page. Don't know why I got a second page, but anyway. So let me do the same again, but this time I'm going to ink it up and just do that really quick. So I know they're a different surface, but can you see? Hopefully you can. This is a lot darker than this. This has yet to dry. It's going to get lighter, but because I allowed this to sit for a while, more ink transferred rather than the quick bounce where little ink transferred. So let me see if I can. So if I stamp again, we've got another image. Let me see whether, I don't know the answer. So if I pop that down and hold it there for a reasonable length of time to allow the ink to transfer from the stamp to the paper, let's pull that up and then let's try and stamp again. And it's really faint, so I hope you can see the difference. So the only other thing I need to stamp in basic grey is the sentiment. So I've got hey there, so I'm going to ink that up. Oh, and I need to show you how to key a stamp, don't I? I need to clean my blocks, they're filthy. So this is just going to tuck, ooh, now where did I put, no, I did put it right at the end here. So here's the score line, so I want to make sure that I'm inside of that, and then hold it in place, count to, I don't know, 3, depends on how quickly you count, but give it a reasonable amount of time, and then up, and we've got a nice clear image, and that's our basic grey dealt with. So I can pop that away. So now, the next bit is really important. Oh no, I need the basic grey again. Just realised I need to stamp the envelope. However, I will continue with my next bit. So I'm just going to stamp this, so we've got one budgerigar on the front of our envelope. I'm just going to ink up that bit and make sure my envelope is the right way up. We've got a nice little budgerigar. When you are using Stampin' Write markers to ink up particularly photopolymer stamps, you do need to make sure that your stamp has a key. So this is like decorating. If you're putting paint on, particularly on a gloss surface, you need to rub it back so that there's a key for your paint to sit on and, you know, be held. So to get a key, you need to take your thumb, you can use the back of your hand, you can use a good white eraser, and just make sure that you've not got anything icky like the film that the spray that they use when they make the stamps still on the stamp set. And hopefully, no, I can see that there is now a white-ish, it's a bit cloudy, so it's going to take the ink better. So I have got 2 Stampin' Write markers. I also have a sponge dauber. You get these in a pack of, I want to say 5. And I'm going to ink up my stamps. Now I got the colouring the wrong way round with my original, because if you've got a green-blue budgerigar, normally you have a blue head and a green body. I'm going to do it that way. So I'm going to put my Parakeet Party down, and I'm using the side of my Stampin' Write marker. So I'm popping it down. And I'm not going over the same area too much, I'm just making sure that it's well inked. we're going to be using all sorts of really fancy tools in a minute to make sure that this is even better. They're not fancy. That's me being silly. I'm recording this on a day where I've had 4 hours of sleep and a personal training session. If you watched my YouTube live on Thursday, you will understand just what a great day I've had. Tahitian Tide, and I'm trying to not mix the colours at this stage, only so that I don't put Parakeet Party on my Tahitian Tide Stampin' Right marker, but I will show you how to deal with that in a moment. So I am going to add some bits to the bottom as well, and then again you grab a piece of scrap paper and just rub your Stampin' Right marker on that so that it's clean. Now, if I were to stamp this at the moment, paper fell on the floor. Why am I surprised? If I were to stamp with this at the moment, there would be a very definite line between the Tahitian Tide and the Parakeet Party. So the first thing I'm going to do is huff on it. So exhale through your mouth onto your stamp. That wets it nicely. And then I'm going to take my sponge dauber and I'm just lightly going to smudge that join, just very lightly, because you don't want to take too much ink off. You just want to smudge it so you don't have a harsh line. Woo! Then I'm going to huff again. And then I'm going to line up my stamp and stamp it. Now, it's always easier to stamp the dark ink first. I don't think I've lined this up particularly brilliantly, but we'll keep our fingers crossed. Hold it in place so that the ink can transfer, and we can see how badly I stamped this. Not great. So I have gone over the top a little bit. I was a bit off. These ones are okay. I was just a bit skew-whiff. But we've got a nice image. And then for the branch, I'm actually using a soft suede ink pad. For the original, I used a Stampin' Right marker, and then I realised that meant you had to buy another 10 Stampin' Right markers. So I'm using an ink pad, and I'm just filling in the branch. Now, this is quite a thick, dark-ish ink, so I do need to kind of find my bearings and hopefully stamp this vaguely in place. And it is vaguely in place. It's quite a dark ink, soft suede. It will lighten, but there is my card. Fold that in half along the crease line. Grab a bone folder and burnish, and there is your nice little gift card, note card. So this was the one I did originally, where I had the colours the wrong way around, and then the one where I stamped it not particularly well. It's fine. We can't all be perfect all of the time. So that's the simple version. For the stepped up version, I have to say I did cheat a little bit, but I'm going to explain what I did, was the thought process behind this. So I've added some of the printed vellum that carried over from the last mini catalogue. Yes, the last mini catalogue, the soon to retire mini catalogue. I've got the back side, the B side of one of the Hues of Happiness designer series papers, which I have distressed quite a lot because I just wanted that look. I've done my colouring, this time with blends, so I've still used the basic grey, but I've coloured with blends, and I've got the colouring the right way round this time. I've stamped the bird cage that is in the stamp set and added a bow at the top with the metallic Tahitian Tide ribbon, and I've done the hay there. I've added some rhinestones. Now, I said this on Thursday and I'm going to say it again. Do be careful where you put your rhinestones when you've got living beings. I think I'll leave it at that. This is supposed to be child friendly, if not aimed at children, but you maybe know where I'm going with this. So I like my triangle, but I don't want this to be underneath the birds. Just saying. Now, my idea with this, and it's just been a bad day today, and I'm away when I record this. I'm away tomorrow for the weekend, so I'm taking a long weekend. So I haven't got time to do much in the way of redoing things and stuff. So my idea is that you could fussy cut these, so you didn't need the dies, and you could fussy cut this, and you could fussy cut this. I cheated and I used the dies. But you could fussy cut them. And because this doesn't go all the way to the top, I've just put a bow over the top, because otherwise it looks like it's stopped in midair. I could have moved the whole thing up so that it was lined up with the edge of my designer series paper, but putting a bow on does just as good a job. So that's my first stepped up version. My second stepped up version is this. Now for this, I've used watercolour paper and one of our water painters, and got my watercolour paper really wet, used some of the re-inker to put a very solid wash of colour. So we've got Tahitian Tide, Parakeet Party and Daffodil Delight. Think about that. And again, we've got the coloured birds, again with blends, and this time I'm legitimately using the dies. This is heat embossed with black embossing powder, and then I've got the die cut of the bird cage, and again I've repeated the ribbon and I've repeated the rhinestones. So those are my three versions, and as I say, this read fussy cutting and this read die cutting, but those are my three versions. So I hope you've enjoyed that. I hope you've I hope you've found that interesting, how you can take one simple design and step it up, but also if you're new to crafting, it's a joy. It is one of the joys of my life that I get to do this for my job. So I get to be creative for my job, and it's wonderful. But even before I did this for my job, to have some time creating just in a zone, so wonderful. Stress levels, woo, came right down. So I mean, everyone's different, but for me it was a real de-stressor. So if you are new to stamping, give it a go. Try one of our kits. At the moment, if you buy a kit and buy a second kit, so when I say at the moment, before the end of June, buy one kit, you can get a second kit, and they're all inclusive. So they've got a block, they've got ink pads. If you've got a stamped one, some of them have pre-printed sentiments, so you don't even have to stamp. But get one kit, get another kit, half price, and it's the more expensive kit that will be half price. So give it a go. You've got basically nothing to lose. The kits come in a little box. Everything will fit in that little box. I'm trying to see if I've got one instantly to hand, and I know I have. So your kit will come in a box like this. So if you're worried about clutter, there isn't any, because it all goes into the box, and the finished projects will go into the box as well. So it's a really easy entry point. And I mean, our kits start at a ridiculous price, and then you can get one at half price till the end of the month. Whoa! Anyway, I hope you've had an enjoyable morning watching this. If you did, a thumbs up's always welcome. Remember, you can share it to Pinterest, onto Facebook, wherever you want to share it would be lovely. If you've got any questions, just pop those below the description bar and I will get back to you. There'll be a shopping list in the description bar. There'll also be a link to my website. It's the associated blog post. And if you click that link, you can go to my website and there'll be a bit more information, some close-up photographs of the project, so you can have a good nose at what I did. And yeah, all good stuff is over there. Have a fantastic weekend. Let me bring up my ugly mug again, because I like to say goodbye properly. So have a fantastic weekend. I'm spending the weekend with some members of the team that I'm a member of, as opposed to my team. We're having a crafting weekend in Birmingham for we're crafting for 2 days. By the time you see this, I'll have been in Birmingham since probably midday Friday, just hanging out with my friends. So yeah, have a fantastic weekend, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon. I will have my Top Tip Tuesday video going live at 8 o'clock on Tuesday morning, and a live video, so streaming live, at 11 o'clock Tuesday morning, and that's all UK time. So until then, bye bye.